just would you share a little bit about what your dating life was like before the program, like what you were noticing?
Yeah, sure. Before the program, it was very confusing. I was just going out with anybody and hoping for the best, settling for ridiculous relationships that I thought that's all I deserved. Yeah, I think the general memory of that time is confusion and feeling desperate. Like just anybody that's fine. Yeah, that's how it was really.
Yeah, yeah. No, we all kind of know that feeling pretty well. And then what had you ultimately say, this isn't working? I want to get support. I need help.
It was when I had, well, it was a relationship, but looking back, I mean, you can't really call it that. But yeah, I'd been dating a guy for a while, and I was, I mean, it was awful, the relationship. It just wasn't right at all. But I was like, thank goodness, finally I've got a boyfriend and now I'm normal. And then when he broke up with me, I was devastated. Oh, no, I knew it. I knew there was something wrong with me. Oh, this is terrible, worst thing ever. And then I thought, well, I can't do this anymore. I think I was 35 and I thought, I just need some help. I don't know what I'm doing. This is, I'll be single forever if I don't get help. And then I think I'd already signed up to some of your newsletters or something like that. So I knew of you before. And then when that relationship ended, I took it more seriously and I contacted you.
And here we are, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So beautiful. So in our journey together, which we had, quite a, the growth and the changes and the expansion, what's one of the biggest things that you noticed that changed about you that allowed you to get to this point? I know there was a lot of changes, but what really stands out?
Yeah, there is a lot. Has been a lot of changes, but I suppose the biggest thing is just thinking there isn't anything wrong with me. Like that's huge. I went through my whole life thinking I'm different to other women. There is something wrong with me. I'm not lovable. Like constantly streaming through my head, looking at people who are getting engaged, thinking, what do they know that I don't? Just everything like that. And then to realize, oh, I am normal. I'm just like everybody else, and there isn't anything wrong with me. Like that's the biggest thing ever.
Right, right. Because so many of us, we know kind of intellectually there's nothing wrong with me, but you, like me, I had a similar story. I was like, there is, like, what is it about me? And it takes so much energy to like cover that up and go through life every day, like living with that. Yeah. And peeling away all of those layers from childhood of why we got there, why we thought that, right, is really the journey. Okay, so let's fast forward to your dating. Let's fast forward to your dating. So, what did you notice was different or empowering about dating this way versus in the past?
I definitely felt more in control this way. I felt like I had the right to ask for what I wanted or say what I wanted. I felt like I had the right to get the relationship that I wanted, to have everything. Because before I'd always be like, oh, don't say you want to get married, don't say you want to have children, because that will scare him away. And it was all rubbish like that I know you hear from many women. And this time I was like, no, I want to get married, I want to have children, and if you don't, then we're not a match, and that's okay, but I need to move on. And like it was very simple, but it was a completely different way of thinking and doing things, and obviously it changed everything.
Right, beautiful. And then on your journey, you met someone, right, who wasn't the one, right? And you learned a few lessons there about
Yeah.
really being deliberate
Mm-hmm.
about what you want and sharing that, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that
Yeah.
was a great learning experience, but it didn't take so much time. And then something changed and you met someone, right? So tell us about him. Tell us about how you met and what that's like.
I feel a bit emotional to talk about it because I still feel like I didn't know I was going to get upset, but it's such a big thing for me. It's absolutely everything. And he's just amazing. And when I think about him and I think about he's everything, like everything I wanted. And everything from my new empowering statement that I said, I want to feel this way and this way. And then I just feel like that when I'm with him. And I didn't know that I was gonna cry, but that's how much it means to me.
Oh, wow. Wow. I feel it too. I know we all feel it because it was a journey. It was a long journey. So how did you meet? How did you meet Jen?
Well, we met on Bumble, and yeah, it's the same as I was in a routine of swiping and messaging and phone calls, and it was I was in a good place, definitely. I was in a really good place, but it was kind of routine, and I liked his pictures, and I read his profile, and I said, yeah, he sounds nice. Sent a message. We had a phone call, and then we arranged to meet up. We went for it was still lots of ice. I can't remember what you call it, but lockdown is still like that. So we had to go for a walk for our first date. We couldn't go for a coffee, so we went for a walk, and yeah, I thought he was really attractive. And that's another thing that I learned from you. Like, I used to think, who am I to ask for someone good looking? Who am I to how dare you? You don't deserve a good looking guy. You just have to settle for anybody as long as he's nice to you. But then you say, number one, are you attracted? That's number one. And I was like, oh, I am allowed to ask for being attracted. So when I first saw him in real life, I thought, oh, he's really handsome. And then I knew that I had to like his personality, and everything else had to line up. So we talked and we had a walk. And it was nice. I didn't think straight away, wow, this is it. I just thought, yeah, have a nice time. I like him. I'll see him again. And we said that we would meet again. And then, yeah, like it flowed. Like literally, there was no games. There was no messing around. He was like, I like you. I want to see you. If he said he was going to call me, he called me. Like, it was just, and I was like, oh wow, okay, this is great. And yeah, that was it, really. That's how it happened.
Oh, that is so sweet. And so what's it been like since? Like, how do you spend your time together? What is it like?
We live fairly far apart, about 50 miles. So the drive between us is an hour, maybe slightly longer than an hour. But we see each other every weekend, and because I'm a school teacher, I have holidays. So for example, I have 2 weeks off work. So then next week we're going on holiday together. So we spend as much time together as we can. It's not easy really during the week, but we make, he said as well, like, I would say we make the effort, but it doesn't feel like an effort. We want to see each other. It doesn't feel like, oh god, I've got to drive over there. It's I would say we make the effort, but what I don't mean it's a chore.
Right, exactly. And what are some of the things that that you do together that you really appreciate?
Just spending time together, and like, we like to cook for each other, or we cook together. We like to go for walks together and be in nature. We do some fun things. He's never really had, because I've been single for a really long time, so I have filled up my diary with all these things and activities, and I'm introducing them to him, and he said, oh, I've never really had like a relationship where there's been plans before. So we do lots of fun things, and he's like, oh, it's really good. So yeah, it's just nice to be together, even if we aren't doing an awful lot. But yeah, we try and do fun things when we can as well.
Yeah. And there was a birthday. It was his birthday recently, right? You posted that?
Yes. Yeah, last weekend it was his birthday. So I booked a B&B, like a little hotel. It was a surprise. So I knew where we were going, but I was driving him and he didn't know where we were going. So that was quite exciting.
Ooh.
yeah, and he was really appreciative, and yeah, we had good fun. Yeah, it was lovely.
Oh, that sounds so fun. I remember like when you'd see other teachers who are married and having children, like that was very distressing. So how does it
Yeah,
feel now? You have a wonderful guy, a wonderful guy.
it feels good, but it doesn't feel um it doesn't I don't know how to, it feels normal, like it feels,
Right.
I feel, because with every other relationship I've ever had, there's been so much anxiety, and I've just felt sick the whole time and nervous and looking at my phone, and is it going to be like, and questioning everything. But with Dan, it just feels, it is exciting, but I'm not, I just feel, oh, it's nice, it's normal, this is how it's meant to be. There's no highs and lows, it's all very stable, and it feels good, it feels amazing, but it's not like, oh my god, he's texted me. It's not like that. It's like,
Right.
it's just nice, it's normal.
That's right. Because the old
Yeah,
way, the anxiety really is spurred by childhood because we're with people who are so unstable, supporting there's something wrong with me. But when you're with someone healthy because you were open to it, then it does healthy love flows. Like I said, it just feels good and it feels calm, like
yeah.
nature.
Mm.
So Jen, what are some of the things that you talk about the future?
We've talked about living together. That'll probably be the next thing that we do, and we're going to do that most likely next year because he's currently renting. So when his rental agreement runs out, he would want to buy a place to live, and if everything is going well, then we would get that place together. So yeah, that would be March next year or early next year.
Oh,
Yeah, around.
that's pretty close.
Yeah,
And do you talk about children and family, marriage, those kinds of things?
yeah, we do. We talk about children, marriage. I know that he does want to get married, of course, otherwise we wouldn't be together. But it's more important to me. But we have talked about it, and I know that it will happen, but also it doesn't feel like it's got to happen on this day at this time. Like, it's just like, I just know it will happen, and I don't feel anxious about it. Yeah, it just feels normal.
Right. I love it. So that's the point. That is such the point. When you're with the right person, like I always say, getting married is a natural progression because it sounds to me like you're feeling seen and you're feeling held and you're feeling just great because that's what it is. It's not needy. It's not like childhood. And speaking of childhood, so how does it feel now that you have such a wonderful guy and a future and all of that? So when you're around your family or your mom, how does it feel now?
Yeah, it feels fine. My parents have met him, and I've met his family, and yeah, he knows about my mum. He knows about my story, and the things I've told myself over the years. And he said, I can't believe you would think those things, and I'm like, well, it comes from this, and I explain about the whys and the stories and stuff. I still don't spend a lot of time with my mum, and that relationship will never change, but I've learned to accept it and to see her for the person that she is, with her own stories and her own I think you said before, her love cup is empty or something like that. So yeah, something, I see her like that really, and I feel a bit sorry for her sometimes, and it's easier for me to understand her.
Right. And she doesn't need to change in order for
Mm,
you to be whole
no,
or happy or anything like that, right?
sure.
Right. So it's major. It's like a big 180 where you've stepped into your wholeness and joy. And so, what are you most excited about?
um just everything. I think, like, we're going on a holiday next week, like I said, so I'm excited about that. I'm thinking about where we're going to live and what our house will be like, and that's exciting. I'm thinking about when we get married, I've already told him where we're going to get married because I knew that from before I met him, and he was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I think about what that will be like and who will be there. Everything is just exciting to think about.
It's so exciting. And it feels like he really, so for all of you, like we look at Jen and we see like she's so beautiful, like he said, how could you think those things about yourself? But we do because of our past and because of our trauma. And then when you snap out of it, you realize, oh, I am lovable. I am deserving. Yeah. Then it becomes like this beautiful congruence. So it sounds like you know each other at a deep level. And it sounds like you also understand him and what he's about and like his motivations, like how he got to where he is too, huh?
Yeah. And when we were going on our early dates, third, fourth, those kind of dates, I would ask questions that from your list of meaningful conversation questions. And not because Barry said ask, but because I really wanted to know, and they were great conversation starters. And he'd notice and he'd say, oh, you're asking me questions, and he'd tell me everything. And I said, oh yeah, do you mind? And he actually said, and I remembered this to tell you, he actually said, no, I don't mind at all. It helps us get to know each other, and it moves the conversation, it moves the relationship on. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly it. And that's what is important.
Oh, he sounds like a sweetie too.
Mm.
Oh, look at that smile. Oh, I'm so happy for you. I told you it would happen. I knew. I know for all of you that it's going to happen because your soulmates are out there waiting for you. They just are. But I hope you're all starting to see that we block it with our own fears and our own limitations, and I'm not worthy. And then we attract parasites where we're suffering and in anxiety and back in childhood. So, oh, it's so beautiful to see. Oh, Jen, thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you for asking me to. I'm happy to help.
Oh, I'm so glad because this kind of thing inspires people. Because when we're in I always use this analogy like a fish in the water, it feels like you ask the fish, what's water? How's the water? And the fish, like, I don't know. It's because it's all we've known. We've only known this kind of way of being. So it's great to see you on the other side. Peaceful. Yeah.